Hey, what's up, guys? This is your boy Travis back at it again here on Big Boy Toy Reviews. Today, I have a very exciting review. Today, I'm super excited about this one, man. I have been waiting forever for this figure to come out. I even paid extra to get him early, or at least right on release date. We are looking at SH Figuarts Monkey D. Luffy Gear 5th, as you can see. Now, there have been a lot of complaints about this figure, and I have restrained from watching full-on reviews. Obviously, you know, this channel is not known for getting on-time reviews. You know, it's actually more known for getting reviews out pretty late, but that's not really the point of this channel. This is a review channel, so it doesn't matter when the figure came out. I get it when I get it, and I don't care if it came out 2 years ago. I'm going to review it. So if I'm not here for the hype, so it just so happens that this figure did just start getting shipped out to people this week. So you're probably going to see a whole lot of people having posting their Gear 5th Luffy reviews. So I guess I'm in that league right now, but I am still a little late compared to most people. I did get him in yesterday. And I was just too busy to shoot a review, and so I didn't. And you know, there are people that have their reviews out. I always take a look at theirs because obviously opinions may vary. I have taken this guy out a little bit and messed with him quite a bit, and I have to say there are some good things, there are some bad things, but I am happy to say there are mostly good things. There's a lot of negativity about his bendy wire arms and legs. And I think all the negativity is unwarranted for the most part. Even when they posted this dude, that they were going to bring him out on Instagram, on their Instagram page, people were complaining about being, oh, it's going to be this and this and that, this and this and that. And I'm like, man, I would prefer bendy wires specifically for this form of Luffy. That's what I said. And taking him out and messing around with him for a little bit, I still hold true to that. I'm going to hold that. You know, I am standing firm on that belief that I still prefer the bendy wire that's in him currently. Now, are there some issues? Sure, but it's just the nature of the medium that they used. So anyway, without further ado, I kind of already went over the box already, so let's go ahead and get him out of the box and take a closer look at him. All right, and here we have Luffy outside of the box, and at first glance, he looks like Luffy. He looks like Gear 5 Luffy. He looks absolutely fantastic to me. Let's get a closer look here. His standard default face looks awesome. The hair on him looks fantastic. I love the Gear 5 little cloud that goes around him. It does pop out quite a bit when you're posing him. So it might be in your best interest to take this off and pose him, then try to put it back on, unless you want to fiddle with it. Some people might just glue that in. I don't know how good of an idea that would be, but I don't know. Maybe you should give it a shot. I'm probably going to get a second one of these, so I might try gluing that in. This cloud thing for his awakened Zoan thing, it's kind of loose. It's a bit heavy for the joint, I think, so it does have a tendency to fall down and make him a little back heavy. But yeah, there seems to be maybe some slight shading here in the crotch area, and in the wrinkles, or they just could be shadowing. I'm not 100% sure based off what I'm looking at in the camera. But yeah, this is a soft piece, so that'll move out the way. Also, his trunks, or his top part of his shorts, are soft, so that will help with articulation. So I guess maybe because they have the bendy joints here, that they decided to make this soft instead of like that typical Figuarts joint where the butt kind of rolls with the leg. I know they do that in some of their figures, and some of them they don't. They stopped doing it. They seemingly stopped doing it with the Dragon Ball figures. But yeah, he looks really good. I like this smile on him. It's very much Luffy. Looks like I got a little chip in his tooth or something there. I don't know if that's maybe some mold flashing or something, but yeah, everything looks pretty good. He looks like Gear 5 Luffy. He came with his hat this time. He came with at least a hat down this time, which why the original Luffy didn't come with the ability to put his hat around his neck like this, no one will ever know. I'm almost tempted. Well, I'm going to get a second one, but I'm almost tempted to get a third one just for the hat to put on the standard Luffy, even though this string isn't supposed to be white on standard Luffy. But yeah, the purples look good on here. I mean, he's a grayish white. He's not pure white. I think I think in the anime he is basically like pure white, isn't he? Like maybe with some grayish highlighting in some areas. But I think he's supposed to be basically just straight white. I could be tripping. I do like the gold buttons here on his shirt, but there's not a whole lot to it. The hat looks good. Looks pretty much like the other hat that Luffy has in his standard figure, standard form or whatever. But yeah, it looks really, really good. We can get a little bit closer if my camera will focus. I think he looks great. So most of the issues are obviously going to be in the articulation aspect of this review, but as aesthetically speaking, he looks fantastic. I have no complaints whatsoever. Even his little feet, no hinge in the toe. I don't know why, but the flip-flops are flexible, so I'm not quite sure why they chose that route instead of just giving him a toe joint. But these are super bendy, if that's worth anything to you. The puffs around his shorts down at the bottom look pretty good. They're a little soft, but I don't expect too much from that. But yeah, he looks freaking cool. So let's go ahead and get to the accessories. All right, now looking at the first face, this is just a standard smiling face. Looks really, really good. We can get really close up here. Found a new setting on my phone that apparently allows me to get super close shots, so I am loving that right now. That must be an update on the iPhone or something, because now you can see how dry and crusty my nails are. But yeah, this face looks really, really good. So I like that. I love the eyebrows, love the eyes. Everything looks so sharp and clean. The scar, the teeth, everything looks really nice. Then we have his other face here. And this is a screaming face, obviously. Very similar eyes and everything too. Well, no, the eyes are a little bit different, but anyway, yeah, this face looks really good as well. Then we have the super angry face. I remember this part in the anime. I don't remember the exact time he did this. Obviously, he was pissed at Kaido at some point. I will get Kaido out to show some size comparisons later. But yeah, that face looks awesome. And then we have, I think, the best face out of all of them. His super shock surprise face with his eyes popping out of his head. Man, these are the type of accessories that you want. Like, you can't go wrong. This is just perfect. This is absolutely perfect, and you can definitely get him in that pose that he did in the anime. They don't have it on the back of the box, but maybe I'll do some shots at the end. And I'm not a big posing person. I don't really pose I'm not really in like action figure photography or anything, but maybe. But anyway, this face is absolutely awesome. Then we have his Nika transformation face when he was presumably dead, and then the Nika heartbeat rhythm started coming, and he kind of got the gooey hair and stuff. That's really cool. I'm glad they included that for the standard Luffy. But yeah, that looks really, really, really good. I like that. So then we have a plethora of hands. So we got some open hands, which are pretty standard. Nothing special about these hands. They're just some kind of open hands. Then we have some effect grabbing hands. So those look fine. And then we have a set of fist hands, which do not come on him in the box. So those look good. Don't mind my crusty fingers. They are dry because I washed them before I started doing this review. Then we have two Mr. Fantastic stretch arms, which are also bendy. So you can really do a whole lot with these. They are super bendy and it sticks very well. You have to put some effort into bending these arms. Like this is one of my, I'll get to that in the articulation, but these do bend just fine. You can get him in any type of pose that you want him to. They'll bend sideways, especially with the longer arms. So I don't understand what people are complaining about. Same thing with this arm, does the same thing. Then we have the awesome lightning effect when he just randomly decided that, hey, I'm gonna try to grab lightning out the sky and throw it, which he did. This does split apart for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure why. Well, I guess to get his hands, obviously to get his hands on there. But I think is this where, maybe, I wonder how that even works. Let's see if we can do it right here on camera. Can this fit in there? Let's see. Oh, it does fit in there. Okay. So yeah, that is to fit his hand over it. So that makes a bunch of sense because this hand is closed. It's not open. So yeah, that looks good. I like that. Then just to get a closer look at the face that came with him by default, I just wanted to get a closer look for you guys on that face. That face looks really good. And then he comes with just regular open hands. So yeah, that is it for accessories. Oh, and I forgot to mention he comes with a stand. A standard Tamashii Nations stand. I don't know which version of the stand this is. Does it say it right here? Does that mean anything? I have no idea. I don't know what kind of stand this is, but it comes with this stand with the standard around your waist type of hook. Regular stand and a base. Now that's it for accessories. Now on to articulation. So this is the area that everybody seems to have an issue with, and I don't. So for articulation sake, we will take this off. I'll go ahead and show this off real quick so we can see the articulation of this thing. All it does is go back and forth. These things can move independently, or this can go up and down. Like I said, it's pretty loose. You can try tightening that up, maybe with some super glue or some super glue trick or something, but that doesn't work forever. So that's kind of annoying. I do wish this was a bit tighter. I haven't tried taking these pieces off or anything. Will they pop off? They do pop off. Okay, so it's just like a hinge joint in here. I see. No, it's not even a hinge joint. It's a static peg. It doesn't hinge or anything. It just swivels. So that's why. They probably could have made that a little bit different. Yeah, I don't make toys, so I can't judge on how that should have been. But you can, I guess, since you can take this off, you can kind of maneuver it however you want to. You know, if you want these swirlies to be behind them or in different ways, so you can take them off and move them around, I guess. But yeah, they just go back and forth. Then we have Luffy himself. So his head, can I get his head off? Probably. His head is on a standard ball peg, double ball peg, which is absolutely fantastic. So is the neck. So that can move all over the place. So you can, as Gear 5 should, you can get all kinds of expressions out of him. He can move the head all around. It is somewhat loose, and you do get a little gapping here in the neck, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, that head can move all around, which is absolutely perfect for Gear 5th Luffy. His arms do go way past parallel, which is good. They can go all the way around, like it is a standard kind of Tamashii Nations shoulder joint there. Now we get to the bendable arms. Now we'll say they aren't the easiest thing to pose, but they are posable. You just have to have a little strength. I mean, I would recommend taking, since these are swappable things, I would recommend taking them off and then maneuvering them how you want. But they do bend just fine. You just got to put a little elbow grease into it, and he can get past them. It does kind of fold back, but because of the nature of his shirt and just how he's built, you can get a little bit past 90 if you can get it to stick. Let's see if I put it back on him, how far we can get, how far it is. Oops, it's on there tight enough. Okay. So for instance, most of the time, I have to pull out the old Luffy, the first Luffy, and see how far he can bend, but I think that's plenty. He can still get up here and put his hand on his head just fine. This inner part is also bendy too, this part of the arm here, so if you want to bend that, you can, but it goes all over the place. You do get a swivel at the shoulder, so you can swivel that for your pseudo elbow or bicep swivel. As far as the torso is concerned, I think it's the same torso as the original Luffy, or at least our same articulation. Obviously, it's not the same because the other one didn't have holes in his chest, but it can, just using all the joints, you can get him to go back this far and then this far forward. So he can do it just fine. Side to side is just fine. So you can get as much as you want out of him. This, oh, pop that off. This looks like this might be a floaty piece, or is it connected in the back? It might be connected in the back. So it doesn't float, but it's soft, so it shouldn't get in the way. Obviously, this end of his belt can move around back and forth. His legs. Now, like I said, this is a soft piece, so he can do the splits without popping his legs off, because you can't pop his legs off. He can get about that far, which, I think that's past 45 degrees, so that's fine. Yes, you can argue that he should technically probably be able to get his freaking legs all the way over his head. I mean, but we're operating in real life, all right? It's unlikely that they would have been able to do that. Could they have probably made him at least get full splits? Yes, so I'll give you that. He does have a thigh swivel, which is nice. The first Luffy did not have that. He can kick his legs plenty forward. I've seen some people talk about, oh, his legs don't go that far forward. It's lies. This is a soft plastic. It's soft plastic in his crotch here. All you gotta do is just force it a little bit. He gets his legs up just fine. The pants kind of force it down a little bit, but he can get way past parallel, and they won't. And it's not coming back down. It's dropping a little bit, but not that far. So for people that are talking about his articulation sucks, you're just not being forceful enough. His leg did pop off, but it's not as bad as like Zoro. Who was it? Yeah, Zoro. It's nowhere near that bad. And I say that now, and now it keeps coming off. I promise it's not as bad as Zoro. Let me see if I can pop that back on camera. It's the issue. I'm doing it on camera, and geez, now all of a sudden it doesn't want to work right. Let's see. Come on. All right, let me do this off camera. Sorry about that. All right, you do get a little pop. You do get a nice little pop when you get his leg in. So yeah, it's in there just fine. As you can see, it's not popping out. A little squeak in that thigh swivel, huh? But yeah, he can get his legs out just fine. Up just fine. If you just got to force it a little bit, that's all. As far as his knees are concerned, his legs are also bendy. Now, I want to talk about this and how this should have been in the original Luffy. And everybody said that seemed to have been what they had thought all the time, but for some reason it was frozen on all of them. They either glued it or forgot to put the joint in there or forgot to make it a joint. I don't know what happened in manufacturing, but this was probably what the original Luffy was supposed to have and didn't. So that's definitely a bummer on that version of him. But he can, oh, I forgot, he can get his legs back quite a bit also. But as far as his leg articulation, he can kick back plenty. For it to stay, about that much. All right. Forward, he can even go forward, which most characters cannot. Obviously, because that's the nature of a bendy joint like that. His ankles go up this far, down this far, and you do get an ankle rocker if you can twist that. If you twist that leg, so the leg is also, you can also move the leg there, so you can get an ankle rocker. Really good that way. So that's good that they made this also a joint that can move or swivel, so you can work with that ankle rocker, because it is, I think, because of the bendy legs, it's a little tough to get that to move. So if you just kind of maneuver this a little bit, you can get it to work. So that's actually a really good idea. Unfortunately, like I said, there is no toe articulation there, so we don't get any toe articulation, unfortunately, which seems to be a unfortunate misstep on their part, because he could have easily had a toe joint. That's super weird that he didn't have a toe joint. But yeah, that is him. I think his articulation is just fine. I feel like anybody that's going to be posing him can get him in any poses that they like. He does stand just fine, you know, if you got his legs right. I don't see any problems with his articulation. I don't know what people wanted. What did you want? Like, I mean, you're still messing. You're still operating in a three-dimensional world. Like you can't just defy physics like the cartoon or like the anime. We still have to operate in reality here, right? And he wasn't going to be able to do exactly everything that everybody wanted him to do that he could do in the anime. He looks good. He can do plenty. He probably can't do every single thing, every single thing everybody wanted him to be able to do, but he can do plenty. So I don't see why anybody's complaining. I really don't see the complaints. He's not perfect, but no figure is. And I'm not quite sure what they thought he was going to be. He's not that expensive, so it's not like they charged you a premium price for him, unless you bought him off of unless you were like me and missed the pre-orders, because as soon as he dropped, he instantly sold out. So I had to go on like CP Japan and pay the proxy prices, which ended up being like $100 for me. But I wanted to get him fast. I forget how much he's going for on BBTS, but I'm pretty sure I think it's like what, $75. So I just don't understand what people are complaining about. He's awesome. He's better than the original Luffy for sure, in my opinion. So I just think people are all in the huff. They just want a reason to complain about everything. I have my complaints about figures for sure. And when companies make stupid decisions, what pisses me off is when companies make dumb decisions on things that they have made better decisions about before, like neck joints, like wire or head peg or neck pegs. Why are we not always using dumbbell joints properly? Like this guy. This should be in every DBZ figure, every figure from here on out that Tamashii Nation makes. They should always be some kind of double ball peg. It just works. But they don't do it. And so when they don't do it, and they can, and they should have in the figure, that's when I start complaining. Or when they do stupid stuff, like when they just do unnecessary stuff. They could have gave him a toe joint. To be honest with you, that's my biggest complaint about the figure. This might be a little looser than it needs to be, but it's standing up just fine right now. Well, other than that, I don't see the issue. People are going to find things to complain about. I'm sorry, but if I was to give him a rating on just articulation alone, I'd probably give him a solid 8 out of 10, because he poses just fine. He poses just fine. I think people just should stop complaining about it. Anyway, let me stop ranting and let's go on to comparisons. All right, here he is standing next to himself. So we have the original SH Figuarts Luffy and him standing next to his Gear 5 version, and they look good. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be together like this, but he's looking like himself. Oops. He does have some issues standing with this thing on. He does have pretty big feet. His feet are actually smaller than the original Luffy. Look at that. His feet are quite a bit smaller. Why? Why is his feet smaller? That makes absolutely no sense. Why not just give him the same feet? So see, this is where I'm going to start complaining, because I didn't realize this until I pulled out this Luffy. Why didn't they just give him the same feet? Just change the color. Like, no wonder he has issues standing. His feet are tiny. Same thing with the hands. Why did they change the size of his hands? Why is Gear 5 hands smaller than normal Luffy hands? If anything, it should be the opposite way around. But this is what I was talking about. They gave him the butt cheeks in these pants, but no thigh swivel. But the swivel is down here at the bottom. But yeah, these are the type of decisions that companies make that piss me off. This is unnecessary. Just use the same foot. Just use the same foot, use the same hands. Amazing. It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. This Luffy stands just fine. Like, because he has a much wider, longer base that can sustain his weight up top. This Luffy, who has more weight up top, has smaller feet. It makes no sense. But if we put them side to side like this, you can see they're roughly about the same size. I would argue that the Gear 5 Luffy is shorter. I think it is. Let me take this off. If that's the case, that also doesn't make any sense. Why would he be shorter? Let's see. Let's get up close. Sure, they get the feet. Yeah, from shoulder to shoulder, he's shorter. This Luffy is leaning to the side a little bit. Let me straighten his head out. Yeah, Gear 5 Luffy is shorter. Why Why would he be shorter? That makes no sense. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's just perspective. Maybe it's just how my camera is showing it. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not shorter. Maybe he's not. Maybe they're the same size. They might be the same size. It's hard to tell with the hat and the hair. I can't tell. I want to say he's a little bit shorter, just off how he looks in the camera and actually how I'm looking at him. I'm trying to straighten out this Luffy as much as I can. I don't know. I can't tell. All right, let me take his hat off. Oh, maybe they are the same size. I don't know. You tell me what you think. It's hard. I guess it's close enough to where you can say that they're the same size, but also at the same time you can possibly say the first Luffy is taller. I don't know. I don't know. At first I thought he was taller, but obviously taller. But maybe he's not. I can't really tell. You know what? Like I said, it's close enough for you to fudge it. So this is going again. But anyway, there he is compared to himself. Here he is standing next to Zoro and Sanji. Here we have the big three. I'm not going to take Sanji out of his stand. He is taller than Luffy, so you should just know that he is. He's just bending over, but he's definitely taller than Luffy. And Zoro is obviously going to be taller than Luffy as well. I know the hair and the puffy thing in the back is throwing that off, but he is definitely taller. But yep, and this is by Zoro with his cloth bottom on instead of that trash garbage plastic one that came with him. Daredevil 97, I think that's the name of it. Daredevil 97 or whatever. I got that from him. I bought that from him. You can look him up on YouTube. He sells cloth goods for a lot of figures. I have quite a few things from him. But anyway, that's him standing next to the other two of the big three. And here he is standing next to Yamamoto and Kaido. And as you can see, Kaido is gigantic and was very hard to fit in screen. I had to maneuver my setup a little bit to even fit him in there because his tail is on. But yeah, obviously Yamamoto and Kaido are going to be way bigger than Luffy. So, but yeah, I mean, they look good together. They look really, really good together. But yeah, that is pretty much it for comparisons. Of course, so this pops this. Now for final thoughts on this guy. I think he's great. If you're collecting this line, he is an obvious pickup for anybody, especially if we're talking about the Wano arc. He's an obvious pickup. Some people might think of the bendy joints as a flaw. I personally don't. I think it is fantastic. I think it goes perfectly with the Gear 5 form and what he's supposed to be able to do. I love his accessories. They're fantastic. I love that he comes with the big long arms. Do I wish that he came with a big fist or, you know, hockey fist or something like that, or the Bajrang gun fist? Yes, that would have been nice if he had come with those things, or if he came with like a separate. I can name a bunch of stuff that he could have came with that would have jacked the price up for this figure. It would be nice if they would make some kind of accessory set for him. Maybe get those spinny when he's like running and kind of like Road Runner, and he's like kicking the ground up and his legs are like spinning in a circle. If they get like an effect like that, you can attach to the bottom of them or something. Probably not, because I don't think his torso can come apart that easily. But it would be nice for something like that. Obviously, big hands, longer leg. I mean, you could think it. I mean, Gear 5 Luffy can do basically anything. So you can come up with anything, any accessory that he could have probably come with. But I like the accessories that he came with. So I think all around, I'll give this figure a solid 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, I'll give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I love this figure. Am I coming from somewhat bias? Yeah, maybe I might. But other than that, please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.